Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is Erica Bergen. Just before we get started, it's getting close to 1 o'clock. I just want to ask our court reporter, Anthony, are you on?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I just wanted to remind you that if you need anybody who's speaking to slow down or speak louder so that you can capture their statement, just please feel free to say something at the time. I want to make sure we have a good, clear transcript for you.
Okay, sounds good. No problem. Thank you.
Thanks. And I'm just going to give it another minute. We have a few more people signed up than are on the line right now, so I just want to wait just a minute so that we're not interrupted with beeps when the time comes. Okay, it looks like we had a slew of people join, but it seems to have stopped. So I think we can get started. Anthony, are you ready?
Yes, we are on the record.
Okay, thank you. I call case 22E0317, proceeding on motion of the Commission as to the rates, charges, rules, and regulations of New York State Electric and Gas Corporation for electric service. Case 22G0318, proceeding on motion of the Commission as to the rates, charges, rules, and regulations of the New York State Electric and Gas Corporation for gas service. Case 22E0319, proceeding on motion of the Commission as to the rates, charges, rules, and regulations of Rochester Gas and Electric Corporation for electric service. And case 22G0320, proceeding on motion of the Commission as to the rates, charges, rules, and regulations of Rochester Gas and Electric Corporation for gas service. Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Erica Bergen. I'm an administrative law judge with the Department of Public Service. With me today is Administrative Law Judge Lindsay Overton, and together we're responsible for presiding over the hearings in this case and the development of a complete record in these proceedings. We are here today for a public statement hearing that was noticed on August 19th, 2022. New York State Electric and Gas Corporation, or NYSEG, and Rochester Gas and Electric Corporation, or RG&E, filed amendments to their electric and gas tariff schedules on May 26, 2022, proposing to increase their annual electric and gas delivery revenues effective May 1, 2023. NYSEG proposes to increase its annual electric delivery revenues by approximately $274 million, which is a 31.2% increase in base delivery revenues, or a 16.8% increase in total revenues. NYSEG requests an increase in its annual gas delivery revenues of approximately $43 million, which is a 20.7% increase in base delivery revenues, or a 9.8% increase in total revenues. RG&E requests an annual increase in their electric delivery revenues of approximately $93.8 million, which is a 19% increase in delivery revenues, or an 11.3% increase in total revenues. RG&E also requests an annual increase in gas delivery revenues of approximately $37 million, which is a 20.9% increase in base delivery revenues, or a 9.7% increase in total revenues. We are holding this hearing so that you can provide your comments on these proposals for the Public Service Commission's consideration. The Commission will decide the terms and conditions of service for NYSEG and RG&E. The Commission consists of 7 members, the Chair, Rory Christian, and Commissioners Diane Berman, James Alessi, Tracy Edwards, John Howard, David Valesky, and John Majori. We're fortunate today to have Commissioner Majori with us. Commissioner Majori, would you like to address the participants?
Thank you very much. I would just like to thank everybody who has turned out to participate in this public statement hearing. As a commissioner, I appreciate hearing from people who are affected by matters that come before us. This is the only time you're going to hear from me because I'm here to listen to what folks have to say. So again, I'd like to thank you, and I look forward to hearing what people have to say. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. So as I said before, the purpose of this hearing is to provide the public with an opportunity to tell the Commission their thoughts on NYSEG and RG&E's rate proposals. The statements you make today will become part of the case record. As I indicated previously, we have a court reporter on the line who will prepare a transcript of this hearing, which will be included in the official record of the proceedings so that your comments can be considered by members of the Commission. When it is ready, the transcript will be publicly available for review on the Department of Public Services website. I want to remind everybody this is not an evidentiary hearing with cross-examination, and it is not a question and answer session, but really just a forum to hear the public's comments. This is also not the only opportunity for you to comment. If you did not register to speak at today's hearing, or you don't want to speak at today's hearing, but you want your views included in the record, there are other ways to comment as explained in the public notice for today's event. You could submit your comments through the department's website, by email, by regular mail, or by telephone. All comments, no matter how they are submitted, will be given equal consideration. Because we are holding this event virtually, we ask people to register to make a statement. If you registered, please summarize any lengthy written statements and then submit your full written statement by mail or email, just to make sure we have enough time for everyone to provide a statement. So we will begin. I just want to remind everybody, there are some people who are participating by telephone, and there are some people who are participating via the WebEx platform. No matter how you're participating, please have only one audio input and one audio output active. Otherwise, we'll experience problems hearing you and some feedback will occur. If you've registered and you're participating by phone, when we call your name, please press *3 on your keypad, and that will show us your name in our list so we can unmute you. If you're participating via WebEx, there's a small button on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. You can click raise hand, or we'll find you in the list, but it'll make it easier if you click that. If you registered via WebEx and now you're participating by phone, again, click *3 so we can identify you. When I call somebody's name, if we can't find you fairly reasonably quickly, I'm going to move on, but I'll come back to you when we're done with the registered list. So the first speaker is Warren Lucas. Warren Lucas. Who had registered by phone. So Warren, if you're on the line, please press *3 on your keypad. Okay, I don't see any hands raised. We'll come back to Warren. The next speaker is Wendy Van Buren. Wendy Van Buren. Wendy, if you've called in, please press *3 on your keypad. Sangeeta, I see we have a hand raised for William. Well, can we unmute to see if perhaps Lauren or Wendy is with that individual?
Sorry, no, they are not.
Okay.
I just wasn't sure whether you needed me to show the raised hand.
No, thank you very much. Okay, we don't hear Wendy or Warren. Joanne Scanlon. Okay. And now I see William Mole. I'm sorry.
It's actually Maley.
Maley. Thank you for that. That is an unusual one. Okay.
It is.
You may begin.
Thank you very much. My name is Bill Maley. I'm the supervisor of the town of Brighton in Monroe County, and I've served in that position since January 1st, 2012. And I thank the PSC for holding this public hearing. Brighton has approximately 37,000 residents, and Rochester Gas and Electric distributes gas and electricity throughout Brighton. The issues that the town of Brighton and our residents have had with RG&E are not new, and we've brought them to the attention of RG&E and the PSC on multiple occasions. I'm here today to call on the PSC to deny RG&E's request for an electric rate increase and instead to engage in the active regulation of RG&E's business to ensure that the patterns of service and system failures that have persisted for years are fixed once and for all. In March 2016, I testified at a PSC hearing held to consider a rate increase for RG&E. At that time, my testimony focused on persistent service outages in neighborhood street lighting districts in Brighton, as well as other issues caused by years of neglect of capital investment in the system. In these lighting districts, the town serves as a conduit for funding the cost of providing electricity for ornamental neighborhood streetlights, which are owned by RG&E. I testified that capital spending on the neighborhood street lighting system in Brighton had long been neglected by RG&E, despite the fact that RG&E was charging town residents for capital improvements to the system as part of its rate structure. At that time, I asked the PSC to deny a rate increase until RG&E could demonstrate that it was providing the service that its customers in the Brighton street lighting districts were paying for, specifically including capital expenditures to reduce outages and permit upgrades for more efficient and less expensive LED lighting. In 2017, just 1 year later, I again submitted testimony to the PSC at a hearing held to evaluate the performance of RG&E in the aftermath of windstorms that had knocked down RG&E poles, causing a significant amount of the town to lose power. I see my time is going, so I will submit more of this in writing. But today, the serious neighborhood street lighting issues have gotten only worse. Certain neighborhoods in Brighton went without street lights for as long as several months this past winter because RG&E failed to keep the parts needed to repair the system. This summer, RG&E finally began the upgrade of one small part of the town's street lighting system to allow the installation of LED fixtures, but the rest of the town will have to wait, in many cases, for years for that upgrade. In 2017, I also addressed the failure to invest in infrastructure, which has directly impacted economic development, specifically a substation along the Brighton-Henrietta corridor. Now, as problematic as those ongoing issues have been, Brighton and the entire RG&E service area is now plagued with billing issues that have impacted hundreds of customers in Brighton alone. We first noted billing problems when customers using the Source Power Community Solar Program reported receiving large bills early in 2022. Although we've still not received a full explanation, it seems that RG&E and Source Power were not prepared to properly bill the large number of community solar customers in Brighton. Many of these bills exceeded $1,000 and at least 2 exceeded $4,000. The town of Brighton filed a formal complaint with the PSC about these billing issues in February. Since that time, the billing problems have only gotten worse, and many customers who were never part of the community solar program began to receive excessively large bills after going several months without receiving any bills at all. Customers who tried to get answers and called the RG&E customer service line were put on hold, in some cases for over an hour, and in many cases were dissatisfied with the answers they received even when they finally did get through to customer service. In Brighton, RG&E finally set up a dedicated customer service line at my request to handle the large number of customer service calls from Brighton residents. But even then, customers have reported leaving messages and not receiving a return call for 4 days or more. The RG&E billing and customer service model is broken, and customers here in Brighton and in the Rochester area are being impacted day after day. 6 years ago, I asked the PSC to deny RG&E's request for a rate increase. Perhaps the PSC chose to give RG&E the benefit of the doubt at that time, when it granted RG&E's request in spite of the voices of so many people who spoke out against the rate increase. Events since then show that RG&E has abused the benefit of the doubt, and the neglect of infrastructure, supply, and street lighting problems in Brighton have simply gotten worse. And these new billing and customer service problems have left customers with no place to turn, often in the face of threats of shutoffs or credit bureau reporting. Today, I ask the Public Service Commission to take note of RG&E's continued neglect of its infrastructure, the repeated customer service and billing failures, their ongoing failure to timely upgrade infrastructure to supply power, to permit economic development in Brighton, and RG&E's ongoing delays in repairing and upgrading their street lighting system in Brighton, and to reject this unconscionable rate increase request in its entirety. I again ask the PSC to take strong measures to regulate RG&E's monopoly. The ratepayers, the residents of Brighton, and the Rochester area deserve better, and it is now time, as it was 6 years ago, but more so than ever today, to hold RG&E's feet to the fire to ensure that their work is done on an expeditious manner so that they can provide customer service, billing, and electric supply to the town of Brighton in the manner that their tariffs require them to do. I thank you for your consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. And I will submit my full statement electronically.
Thank you, Mr. Maley. The next speaker is Christopher Klein. Christopher Klein, if you've joined by telephone, please press *3 on your keypad. I see we have a call-in user with their hand raised.
Christopher Klein speaking.
Thank you. You may begin.
Hi, I'm just a resident of the town of Hamburg. Been a resident in NYSEG territory for 19 years. My comments are kind of similar to the supervisor in Brighton. It has to do with street lighting issues, customer service issues, lack of line technicians, and customer service waits. Probably probably 5 or 6 years now, I've had to file public service complaints in order to get something as simple as streetlights fixed in the town of Hamburg. The town of Hamburg, I believe, has 60,000 residents with 10,000 in the village. Of that 10,000, and half of the 60,000 in the town are customers of NYSEG. Just recently, I called in 8 streetlights that were out. Was on hold for over an hour, and just to get the lights fixed, I had to file a public service complaint. Took 2 weeks for them to respond to me. And personally, I don't think that, you know, a town resident should have to file a public service complaint in order to get streetlights fixed. Also, in my taxes, pay about $80 a year just in my taxes for street lighting, which I believe goes to NYSEG for the maintenance of the street lights. So it's just been an ongoing issue with street lighting problems. My second complaint was the customer service. Recently was an hour. Most recently as last week that I called, it was a 3-hour callback time. NYSEG provides a service to the customers. They don't produce anything. Their number one thing is servicing your customers. And I feel that, you know, that's way excessive. I also own another property in the town of Hamburg, which is serviced by National Grid. When I call them with an issue, phone calls answered within 10 minutes. Streetlight issues, they pull up a map, I give them an address, they pull up the pole number, it's repaired in 2 or 3 days. NYSEG chooses oftentimes to contract out the work to outside companies. About 3-4 years ago, I stopped at the line department in the town of Hamburg, which was now reduced from about 24 line technicians to between 6 and 9 line technicians. Not very many line technicians for servicing, you know, a population of 60,000 people. I asked him what the stack was on his desk, about 2 inches thick. Those were for street lights. So, I mean, we shouldn't have to go through this. And one of the other things I just wanted to mention was, you know, the wait times for customer service. I mean, that happens all over. It's just excessive. And lastly, I just wanted to mention that it's even gotten as bad as my meter was read incorrectly a few months ago, and that's a digital meter. You know, personally, I mean, if somebody can't read the digits on a meter, I mean, are they even working there? Should they even be working there? That's really about all I had to say. My main thing is mainly with the streetlights and just their lack of overall resources to repair them. I mean, I shouldn't have to file complaints to get streetlights fixed, but I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Mr. Klein, can I get the spelling of your last name, please?
It's Kleine.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
appreciate it. Thank you. All right, bye now.
Bye. The next speaker is Steve Jacobstein or Jacobstein. You've joined by phone. Steve, please press *3 on your keypad. Steve Jacobstein. Okay, we'll move on to John Capusta.
Your Honor, we have raised hand.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Is that Steve? Hello? Do we have Steve Jacobstein? I see Tina Jackson has their hand raised. Can we unmute? Maybe Steve is with her.
Yes, Steve is here, and there's a number of people here with the Monroe County Workers Benefit Council.
Okay, well, we have to go with people who have already registered. So whoever has already registered, I'll call your name And then if they're, at the end, we'll go to people who have not registered. But I want to make sure we get to all the people who registered first. So if you have Steve, he can
All
make
right.
a statement.
Good afternoon. My name is Steve Jacobstein. I live in Monroe County. I'm a retired attorney and I work as a volunteer at Eastern Service Workers. In that capacity, I'm here today to speak on behalf of more than 25,000 low-income workers and their families throughout Monroe County. The Eastern Service Workers expresses their emphatic opposition to RG&E and NYSEG's $580 million rate hike request. We demand that the Public Service Commission do its job and deny this unaffordable and unsustainable rate increase. I endorse the demands of the Eastern Service Workers. 1, cancel this rate hike entirely. 2, install a year-round moratorium on shutoffs. And 3, transition to a 100% renewable energy grid by 2030 while keeping rates affordable for even the lowest income taxpayers. Eastern Service Workers represents home health aides, nursing aides working in nursing homes, child care workers, food service, and retail workers. They don't get paid enough for the essentials like home energy. And so adding another $25 to their monthly bills is absolutely out of the question. For over 12 years, ESW has called on the Public Service Commission to follow its own legal mandate to, quote, protect the utility consumers from the potential abuse of monopoly power and to protect the rights of New Yorkers while ensuring access to reliable and low-cost utility service. But during this time, the PSC has broken this mandate, choosing to guarantee a certain rate of return on investment for the utility monopoly shareholders. The guaranteed profit was 9% last we heard. As a result of the state guaranteeing these exorbitant profits for energy monopolies compounding with stagnant wages and fixed incomes not keeping up, New York has seen 300,000 utility customers being shut off each year. 60,000 of these right in their own region. Shutoffs by Avangrid subsidiaries, RG&E and NYSEG. But Avangrid's parent company in Spain, Iberdrola, got $4.4 billion profits for its shareholders and paid its CEO $10 million year after year. During the pandemic, as an emergency measure, the state instituted a moratorium on shutoffs, which the ESW has already been demanding for 12 years by petitions, letters, and testifying at public hearings. However, at the beginning of 2022, the state lifted the moratorium, so shutoffs began again. The COVID-19 pandemic made it worse, with thousands losing their jobs and hundreds of small businesses closing down. So it's not time to allow shutoff. It's time to stop shutoffs forever. During the pandemic, according to RG&E's own 2020 and 2021 financial reports, they successfully increased their net revenue by 32% and increased their shareholder wealth by over 27%. We know how they did that. Now 13% of all utility customers owe more than $2.1 billion, double what was owed at the same time in 2021. So the ESW is here again today after more than a decade of these hearings and petitions to continue demanding a permanent year-round moratorium and all shutoffs for low to moderate income ratepayers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next speaker is John Capusta. John Capusta or Capusta?
Hi, can you hear me? This is John Capusta.
I can, thanks. You may begin.
Great. Hi, my name is John Kapusta. I'm a resident of the city of Rochester. And like all of the previous speakers, I'm also here to call on the commission to deny RG&E's request for a rate increase. I think that everyone living in our county, our state, our country deserves to live in an equitable and sustainable world. A place where everyone, no matter who they are, can thrive. I have two small children, and when I think about the future, that's what I think about. I think about the world that they're going to grow up in, the burdens they're going to inherit, especially in light of the systematic inequality that we all live with and the climate crisis whose effects are already visiting us today and only promise to get worse in the future. And so it's on behalf of myself, but also on behalf of my small children and everyone that I'm here to ask for the denial of what I think is really an outrageous request. I think it is completely unacceptable that RG&E would propose a rate increase that would so drastically increase the energy burden of people living in Rochester. As you may know, a study conducted by the American Council for an Energy Efficient Economy, which is a nonprofit research organization, found that 37% of Rochester residents and 44% of Black and Latino Rochester residents pay between 10 and 25% of their entire income on energy. And that's right now. And New York State defines a reasonable energy burden as 6% of one's household expenses. So again, we're talking about between approximately a third of Rochester residents and nearly half of Black and Latino Rochester residents are already paying nearly twice that and even 4 times that for their energy. 4 times what New York State defines as reasonable. And the proposed rate hikes are only going to make this situation worse. On top of that, they're going to make this situation worse while also investing in gas infrastructure that is going to make our climate change crisis worse. I want to applaud the utilities for the work they've done to invest in electric vehicle charging stations and plans for more. The work they're doing to upgrade electric panels and to enable heat pump installation, and the geothermal project in Ithaca. That is the direction that RG&E should be devoting its resources. It should not be spending ratepayer dollars on rebates for gas appliances and marketing for gas products and investment in other non-renewable energy sources. We all know the future of fossil fuels in our country. We can see with the passage of recent laws at the congressional level or at the federal level that that is not the direction that we are heading in. That is not the direction that we want to head in. We want to invest in a renewable, a sustainable and equitable future for everyone. This proposed rate hike is an outrageous affront to that future that I think we all deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Carrie Warner. Carrie Warner.
Hi. Actually, this is Nicole Clark for Carrie Warner. I'm in her office, and she's asked me to convey that given the inflationary pressures everyone is currently facing, this is not a time for a significant rate increase for energy use. She says that it's important that the PSC strip out of this enormous ask any extraneous expenses or investments that do not directly impact the delivery of energy to customers today. She asks, how can the PSC justify a 9% rate of return when nothing in the capital markets is yielding a 9% return? Why should the utility company be guaranteed a 9% rate of return? Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Alicia Landis.
Good
Alicia?
afternoon. Yep.
Yes. Alicia?
Yep, this is Alicia Landis.
Okay, thanks. Please begin.
Good afternoon, Administrative Law Judges Bergen and Overton. My name is Alicia Landis, and I'm a staff attorney and the Direct Services Supervisor with the Public Utility Law Project of New York, or PULP. PULP is a 40-year-old nonprofit with the mission of educating, advocating, and litigating on behalf of New York State's low-income utility customers. PULP thanks the Department of Public Service for the opportunity to testify in relation to both NYSEG and RG&E's electric and gas rate cases. PULP is an active party in all 4 cases, and we have filed expert testimony on September 26. PULP has several concerns that is expanded upon in our written testimony. When the companies filed on May 26, they proposed double-digit increases in revenues across the companies. These proposed increases would put further strain on ratepayers, particularly low-income customers. Today, PULP has filed rebuttal testimony in these proceedings. We are concerned with DPS staff testimony, which was filed last month, as it still increases rates for NYSEG and RG&E customers by double digits. Staff's proposed revenue requirements for NYSEG Electric is a 27.6% increase, for NYSEG Gas a 4.8% increase, for RG&E Electric a 15.9% increase, and RG&E Gas a 14.1% increase. PULP is concerned that these increases are still far too high for NYSEG and RG&E's customers. The reality is that people are struggling financially. NYSEG's collections activity reports show that as of August 2022, 108,694 residential customers are behind on their bills by 60 days or more. This equates to a total of $59,253,973 in residential arrears. RG&E's own collections activity reports show that as of August 2022, 70,205 residential customers are behind on their bills by 60 days or more, for a total of $46,358,109 in residential arrears. Neither NYSEG nor RG&E have updated these numbers for September of 2022. The Commission has set an important target for affordability, with a goal that no low-income customer will spend more than 6% of their income on energy. Even before any rate increases that may result from the company's filings, low-income customers in the territories are already spending much more than 6% of their income on energy bills. PULP's testimony shows that the average low-income NYSEG customer spends 9.7% of their income on energy. This is 62% higher than the target set by the Commission. Our testimony also shows that the average low-income RG&E customer spends 9.1% of their income on energy. This is 52% higher than the target for affordability. These energy burdens may even be more exaggerated in disadvantaged communities across the company's territories, which is not discussed at all in the company's filing. The effects of the COVID-19 pandemic are still heavily felt across the company's territories. Everyday ratepayers are already struggling with bills that are unaffordable. In these unprecedented times, PULP asks the Commission to scrutinize NYSEG and RG&E's rate requests to make sure that the rates customers are paying are just, reasonable, and affordable and fair. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. The next speaker is Emma Lovett. Emma Lovett. Emma, if you've called in, please press *3.
A single word.
Hello, is this Emma?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Okay, please begin.
Hello and good afternoon. My name is Emma Lovett and I live in Rochester, New York, and I work as a landlord here in Rochester. I am a delegate to the Monroe County Workers Benefit Council, and in that capacity, I'm here today to speak on behalf of more than 25,000 low-income workers and their families. yes. The Workers' Benefit Council expresses its emphatic opposition to RG&E and NYSEG's shameless 580 million rate hike request. Furthermore, we demand the Public Service Commission do its job and deny this unaffordable and unsustainable rate increase. Yeah. We are the home health aides, the nurses' aides, working in nursing homes, the childcare workers, the food service and retail workers. They started calling us essential workers during the pandemic, but we don't get paid enough for the essentials like home energy. And so adding another $20 or $22 to our monthly bill is absolutely out of the question. Right. Yes, yes. For over 12 years, we have called on the Public Service Commission to follow its own legal mandate to, and I quote, protect the utility customers from the potential abuse of monopoly power, and quote, to protect the rights of New Yorkers while ensuring access to reliable and low cost utility services. But all during that time, the PSC has broken this mandate, choosing to guarantee a certain rate of return on investments for the utility monopoly shareholders. The guaranteed profit was 9% last we heard. As a result of the state guaranteeing these exorbitant profits for energy monopolies, compounding with stringent wages and fixed incomes not keeping up, as you know, with New York State has seen 300,000 utility customers being shut off each year. 60,000 of those right here in our region, shut off by Iberdrola subsidiaries, RG&E and NYSEG. But Iberdrola's parent company in Spain, Iberdrola, got $4.4 billion in profits for its shareholders and paid its CEO $10 million year after year. During the pandemic, as an emergency measure, the state instituted a moratorium on shutoffs, which our WBC was already being demanded for 12 years by petition, letters, testimonies at the public hearing. However, at the beginning of 2020, the state lifted the moratorium, so shutoffs began again. The COVID-19 pandemic made it worse, with thousands losing their jobs and hundreds of small businesses closing down. So it's not time to allow shutoffs. It's time to stop shutoffs forever for those in need. During the pandemic, according to RG&E's own 2020 and 2021 financial reports, they successfully increased their net revenue by 32% and increased their stockholders' wealth by over 27%. We know how they did that. Now, 13 of the utilities customers owe more than $1.2 billion, double what owed to at the same time in 2021, double. So the WBC is here today. Again, after more than a decade of these hearings and petitions, to continue demanding a permanent year-round moratorium on all shutoffs for low to moderate income taxpayers. This isn't just about financial debt. Some of us are paying with our lives and our health. Every winter in Central and Western New York, there is the predictable death toll due to those house fires, carbon monoxide poisoning for people who have resorted to unsafe heating methods after being shut off by RG&E, NYSEG, and other shareholders owned utilities. Every summer, the number of individuals in the US end up in emergency rooms, even dying. Heat-related deaths kill more people than hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, and earthquakes combined. It is a silent killer. There is no report on the deaths from the heat waves that the PFC allows. The same way we need heating in the winter months, we need air conditionings in the summer months as well, because both are essential to people's health and well-being. Not to mention for keeping insulin refrigerated and to keep breathing machines running. This is why we need a permanent year-round moratorium on all shutoffs for low to moderate income ratepayers. On July the 28th of this year, the WBC just submitted a petition to the PSC office in Albany by fax, containing over 1,300 signatures and a dozen endorsement letters from local faith-based groups and nonprofits who are attempting to address the needs of the poor in our community. The petition demands were enact a permanent year-round moratorium on utility shutoffs for New York residents whose incomes are at or below 250% of the federal poverty level. Number two, direct RG&E and NYSEG to cancel arrears for their customers whose incomes are at or below 250% of the poverty guidelines. Number three, transmit New York State's energy grid, transitions New York State's energy grid to 100% renewable energy by 2030, while ensuring service is both affordable and accessible to even the lowest income residents. That's right. Yes. Yes. Dozens of people in our community have called the PSC's office to confirm that the petition has been received and processed. Eventually, your staff in the public affairs office told us that they had received them and forwarded them to the secretary, Michelle Phillips. Then numbers of our people called her directly, and she eventually indicated that they had received them. We saw what happened next. The state government claimed debt forgiveness for those in debt, which is our second demand. But what they really did is pay off the utility debts with $567 million that has come out of our taxes. Except for the 6% the utilities kicked in, but somehow they are allowed to actually bill us for that 6% through additional surcharges to pay off our debt. The PSC should make utilities affordable and environmental sustainability in interest of poor and working people throughout New York if it is truly a priority for them. In fact, these are essential workers that they would be protecting. This year, the Public Service Commission has another chance to live up to its legal mandate and do what it was created to do: serve the public. Yes, 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 yes. So the Monroe County Workers Benefit is here today to demand that the PSC, number one, deny RG&E and NYSEG's rate hike request outright and take the next step and lower the rates. Number 2, enact a permanent year-round moratorium on utility shutoff for New York residents whose income is at or below 250% of the federal poverty level. And number 3, transition New York State's energy grid to 100% renewable energy by 2030, while ensuring safe service is both affordable and accessible to even the lowest income residents. Tell them all these people are here with you to speak. We have Beverly Usher, Forrest Ward Cherry, Zoe Nassar, Rachel Raleigh, Jerry Retzel, and Donna Brown, and Alex Brown. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Lovett, can I get the spelling of your last name, please?
Sure, it's Lovett.
Thank you.
Yep. The next speaker is Jeffrey Eisenhart. Jeffrey Eisenhart. Jeffrey, if you've called in, please press *3 on your phone. Jeffrey Eisenhart. Okay, we'll come back. Next, I have only a last name of Weiser.
Yes, hi, it's Irene Weiser, Irene Weiser, and I'm the coordinator of Fossil Free Tompkins here in Tompkins County, and previously a council member in the town of Caroline for 10 years. I am a party in this current rate case, and I actively participated and testified in the previous rate case as well. I very much appreciate the commissioners taking time to join our public hearing today, and similarly, I appreciate this opportunity to address the ALJs. I have read through the staff's testimony on a variety of topics, and I have some deep concerns about the company's rate filings. Both the electric and the gas infrastructure and operation panels identified significant gaps in the information that was provided to them by the companies regarding their capital projects, O&M, and staffing needs. And in many instances, the companies failed to provide clarifying information when requested by staff information requests. The electric infrastructure testimony goes on to note that these problems occurred in the last rate case too, and further that the 2018 management audit report instructed the companies to improve their filings and named particular software that they should use. And in recommendation 10.1, they provided detailed information that the company should be providing. Yet the companies failed to provide us with sufficient benchmarking this year's electric panel laments. I'm enormously appreciative of the staff's tenacity in trying to get the substantive answers out of the companies. But beyond that, I am beside myself over the company's mismanagement and arrogance in asking for literally more than $1 billion a year in revenue from ratepayers without providing anything close to appropriate justification. Moreover, they are chronic offenders. This signals that the companies are either egregiously mismanaged or they just don't care. It leaves me wondering, or leaves me with the impression that the companies have no respect for ratepayers' hard-earned dollars and cannot be trusted to account for how it is used. The ratepayers deserve more. The staff has provided their educated guess as to how the staff or how the company's proposal should be modified. But really, these are just educated guesses because they have no concrete information to work with. My concerns with this were first articulated in the prior rate case when we rejected the joint proposal for the electric filing. We stated our concern that the rewards that the approval of the JP would reward the ongoing mismanagement and reticence of a dysfunctional corporation. By supporting the proposal, we are gravely concerned that staff has sent a signal that such antics can continue. We further noted that as nonprofits, if any of us submitted an application without detailed project descriptions, budgets, and justification, our funders would throw our proposal out the window. In contrast, DPS staff have allowed this large corporate monopoly to get away with inadequate proposals and obstruction of the regulatory process and still be rewarded with hundreds of millions in ratepayer hard-earned dollars. In this way, DPS staff are perhaps unintentionally reinforcing the company's unprofessional behavior. If the companies cannot write a reasonably justified capital plan with clear cost centers, timelines, staffing requirement, engineering plans, consideration of alternatives, etc., they do not deserve our money. So that was the statement in the last rate case, but I will say that the same holds true in this case. To allow this case to proceed sends a message to the companies that they can continue to submit proposals that are poorly justified, overpriced projects, and still be rewarded with hundreds of millions more in new funding. I recommend that the company's applications be declared incomplete. As such, I recommend that the company withdraw their filings until such time as they can file more complete information. Alternatively, if the companies do not withdraw their applications, the commission should reject the company's applications. Further, I recommend that the commission undertake an evaluation of the company's management competencies. Last, if it does not already exist, I recommend that the commission establish clear guidelines for the type of data and information required in a rate case filing, and to detail specific penalties, such as decreasing the ROE at least 1 basis point below the ROE that's determined by the general financing method, if those guidelines are not met. In the absence of commission guidelines, I recommend that the companies follow the guidelines provided in the testimony by the electric and gas infrastructure panels before refiling their revised proposals. So I will be submitting a longer version of this as testimony. I urge the ALJs and, if it's appropriate, the commissioners to not only read my testimony, but read the direct words of DPS staff in their infrastructure and operation panel filings. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. The next speaker is Tina Jackson.
Hi, my name is Beverly Usher. I'm here for Tina Jackson. She can't make it, and I'm trying to get in because I have to get children off the school bus. How are you today? I am here, and I am.
I'm sorry, Beverly, have you signed up?
Yes, I have, but I've got to leave. So I need to get in here and say what I need to say because I got to go meet children off a school bus.
Okay.
I am here with the Monroe County Workers Benefit Council, and I may not be an essential worker, but I am an essential human being. And what I am trying to let you know is that these rate hikes are just, they're not affordable, not even just to me, but anyone else on a fixed income. I've worked hard all my life. I've been a construction worker. I've worked for the city. I have become a disabled person. And as a person on disability who cannot get their full share because I'm not of age, I cannot afford these RG&E rate hikes. Do you know that it's hard enough to live off of $800 a month? How am I gonna afford RG&E? I can barely afford my phone bills, my food bills, and every other bill I got. And you're raising these hikes up even faster than I can deal with them. There's more people in this world in Rochester, New York here who are having the hardest time just making ends meet with food prices going up, gas prices going up, rent prices going up, and now you want to pay RG&E? They don't even live in the greatest country in the world, which is supposed to be the United States. If we're so strong, why are we giving them all our money? Why are we catering to them? You're supposed to be helping the people of the United States. We are a great country. You help us before you help them. Yeah. How are you going to let us take the brunt and take the food out of me and my grandchildren's mouth and give them rate hikes? You're not hiking up my disability check. I can't afford it. I need you to say no to this. We need you to side with the Workers' Benefit Council and let them know you cancel that rate hike entirely. You install a year-round moratorium on those shutoffs so nobody has to do without their RG&E. I have a breathing machine. Do you know I had to fight with RG&E to keep my RG&E on just so I could live? I had to get my doctors on it and everyone else. Do you know how humiliating that is to be begging everyone to help you keep your RG&E on so you can live? You won't know until you walked in my shoes. And another thing you need to know is you need to transition to 100% renewable energy by 2030 to keep these rates affordable, because low-income people like me cannot afford to live, and we can't even afford to die. Thank you.
Ms. Beverly,
Thank
can I
you.
get the spelling
The
of your
next
last
speaker
name,
is
please?
Jonathan Garcia. Jonathan
Sorry, Your
Garcia.
Honor. I didn't get
Hello?
the last name of Mrs. Beverly. She was speaking very fast.
She said her last name was Usher.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jonathan Garcia. Jonathan, if you've joined by phone, please press *3 on your keypad. Okay, we'll come back to Jonathan. Brian Eden is the next speaker. Brian Eden. Or somebody appearing on Brian's behalf from the Campaign for Renewable Energy. Brian, if you join by phone, press *3. Okay, Forrest Ward. Forrest Ward. If you've joined by phone, press *3.
Can you hear me?
Yes, who is speaking?
This is Forrest Ward Cherry.
Okay, please begin.
My name is Forrest Ward Cherry. I live in Monroe County, and I'm a service worker at Abundance Co-op. I'm here today with the Monroe County Workers Benefit Council, or WBC for short, representing more than 25,000 low-paid working people and families throughout Monroe County. The WBC opposes any and all rate hikes of our utility bills, as it would only cause more poverty and economic inequality, as well as pain and suffering in our own communities. Avangrid states that rationale for this rate hike is implementing their green energy development plan called Renewable Energy New York. While the WBC supports all sincere efforts to transition New York's energy grid to 100% based renewable energy, we take exception to the utilities' claim that we must raise our bills in order to do that. Their claim is especially disingenuous in light of the fact that RG&E increased their revenues profits during the pandemic by 32 and 27% respectively. And this while other numbers of ratepayers statewide were unable to afford the utility bills to double by 13%. All households collectively owing over $1.2 billion. The claim that only pathway to green energy is higher bills for ratepayers is a lie. The concept of sustainability development was defined and accepted globally at the 1987 World Commission of Environment and Development Conference. Quote, development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs, end quote. In other words, sustainability includes meeting people's needs here and now in a way that allows our children and grandchildren to do the same. Therefore, sustainability must be economically viable, socially inclusive and equitable, as well as ecologically responsible. In 2015, all 193 members of states of the United Nations unanimously adapted to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development with its 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. That includes the U.S. Later that year, the Monroe County Workers Benefit Council officially endorsed the 2030 Agenda because it is consistent with our program going back 40 years. Sustainable Development Goal number 1, end poverty of all its forms, everywhere. Goal number 7, ensures access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Goal 11, make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. While we take urgent action to fight climate change, we must do so in a way that eliminates economic and social inequality. There is nothing sustainable about a multi-billion-dollar energy holding company like Iberdrola and Avangrid, owner of RG&E and NYSEG, paying for their so-called green energy initiative by raising customers' bills over $20 per month. Right. It is not affordable to utility customers, and it may be green, but it's not sustainable. There is nothing sustainable about forcing us to let them put their smart meters in our homes to charge us more money for using electricity at peak hours of the day, such as when working mothers get home from work at 5 p.m., must cook for their kids and do laundry while they get started on their homework. And if we choose to opt out of their smart meter program, they will add an additional $12 a month to our bills, all in the name of going green. Well, it may be green. This type of profit-driven environmentalism is creating more poverty in our community, and we'd say is not sustainable. There's nothing sustainable about a deregulated energy market that allows the largest investment banks in the world to drive up the price of a life necessity, such as heat in the winter when weather experts predict extreme winter weather on the horizon, and they all start buying gas futures expected to make a windfall profit. When the PSC throws hundreds of thousands of our families under the bus by allowing utility rate hikes in the name of going green, we must fight for sustainability development and not policies that harm the majority for the benefit of the already wealthy and powerful. Right. We, the Monroe County Workers Benefit, demand the PSC and the New York State government set an example for others to follow and adhere to the letter and spirit of the 2030 Agenda of Sustainability Development and transition our state's energy grid to a clean, renewable, modern energy grid by 2030 for the sake of our children, grandchildren, and for the generations to come. We demand that PSC achieve this while ensuring that utility rates remain affordable for even the lowest income payers. To achieve this, the PSC must take whatever action is necessary to ensure that those who have been profiteering off our energy grid and energy markets be required to foot the bill for the transition to renewable energy. That's right. They have the money to cover the necessary costs. We do not. We have tightened our belts year after year. It's time for them to share the burden. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Let's go back to see if Jeffrey Eisenhart has joined. Jeffrey Eisenhart, if you're on by phone, please press *3. Jeffrey Eisenhart. Okay, how about Jonathan Garcia? Jonathan Garcia. If you've joined by phone, press *3, please. Or Brian Eden. Brian Eden from the Campaign for Renewable Energy. Okay, I haven't seen any hands for those people. Is there anybody on the line who did not register but would nevertheless like to speak? If you joined by phone, please press *3 to raise your hand. And if you've joined via WebEx, there's the raise hand button on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Little icon, if you click that on the WebEx platform, you can raise your hand, we can identify you. Hello, who do we have?
My name is Zoe Natsis. I live in Monroe County.
Hi, I'm sorry, since you haven't registered, I'd like anybody who makes a statement now to say their name slowly and spell it for the court reporter, please.
My name is Zoe Natsis. I live in Monroe County.
I'm sorry, can you spell your last name, please?
Natsas.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm an advocate for the disabled population and for the working families of this area. I am here with the Monroe County Workers Benefit Council. We deserve to be able to live in our homes affordably. I protest this rate hike, demand that you work for us here at the PSC. Totally disappointed with the RG&E billing system and at times the vague customer service responses. I urge the PSC to work with us and be our advocate in these matters. I also protest the smart meters to opt out with a fee. This is unacceptable. And this is why I endorse the demands of the Monroe County Workers Benefit Council. Cancel these rate hikes entirely, install a year-round moratorium and shutoffs, and transition to 100% renewable energy grid by 2030 while keeping rates affordable for even the lowest income ratepayers.
Have you concluded your statement?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Again, if anybody else would like to speak who has not registered, please press *3 on your phone or the raise hand button on WebEx.
Hey. Okay, my name is Jerry Rensel, R-E-N-T-Z-E-L.
Okay, thank you. Please begin.
Hello, I'm speaking for the 25,000 members of the Eastern Service Workers Association. And you've heard all the statistics, and I agree with all the previous speakers. And I'm going to keep this really short and sweet. And all I'm going to say is protect the ratepayers and not the profiteers. Please do that for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else with your organization that'd like to make a statement?
Yes.
I heard a yes, so can the next person please state their name and spell their last name, please?
Spell your last name.
Hello?
Good afternoon.
Hi, who's speaking?
My name is Donna Brown, and I live in Rochester, New York.
Okay, please begin.
Pardon me?
You may begin.
Okay, and I'm here with the Monroe County Workers Benefit Council as well, and I'm with standing with them 100%, and that is why I endorse the demands of Monroe County Workers Benefit Council to cancel this rate hike entirely, install a year-round moratorium on shutoffs, and transitions to a 100% renewable energy grid by 2030, while keeping rates affordable for even the lowest income rate payers. I truly believe that the rates are extremely high, and some people are in very low income and cannot afford this high rate, and the shutoffs are very ridiculous. People are suffering, and they need to understand and know that everybody can't afford these high rates in these times. And they should demand the shutoffs. I've been in a situation, they don't even give you time enough to pay. When you're just a little late, they still shut you off, and you'll be late because you have several other bills. When you have a very low income, you can't just take care of everything at one time. You have to consider the low incomes and consider people that can't afford these high rates. And people are suffering, and they're shutting you off and do not care. Children are suffering, elderlies are suffering. So these rates I demand, and I stand 100% with Monroe County Workers Benefit Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Is there anybody else with you that'd like to make a statement?
Yes.
I heard a yes. Please state your name.
They're coming.
God bless you.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
God bless you. My name is Pastor Brown, Pastor Alex Brown. ALEX, BRW, and Brown.
Okay, thank you. Please begin.
Hello? And I've been in Rochester since 1958. And been cut off a few times. And but now it's getting rough and rough. It was bad before, but now it's showing up bad. But I retired from the I worked on the city of Rochester, tree climber for the city of Rochester, New York, for some years, and I retired from the state of New York. And I was fighting ice and snow on the expressway and the thruway and stuff for years. And I know what it feel like to come home when your heat off and you ain't got no gas and electric, because the gas and electric is the one that keeps the thing going around here. So we really need you, but some of the things it don't make sense, seem like to me. I'm here to represent agree with the Monroe County Workers Association benefit. And so some things that you had to check out. You can get down on it more than what you is, more than what you're doing. You can do better. If y'all do better, we can do better. We can live better. We live better. You'll do better things. You'll prosper. But if you cut people off and everything, want to kill them folk like that, or they freeze to death and stuff like that, and the machine don't work and all kinds of stuff like that, it's not right. So we got to do better. That's all. If y'all do better, we'll do better. God bless.
Thank you, Alex. Is there anybody else in your organization that'd like to make a statement?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Raquel Rowley.
Okay, can you please spell that for the court reporter, please?
Rowley.
Thank you. Please begin.
I live in Rochester, New York.
I used to work as a sales representative and now, and later as a teacher aide. I'm here with the Monroe County Workers Benefit Council. Okay. I am talking today about RG&E raising people bills. What is that all about it? Are you guys gonna keep raising bills, the RG&E bill? Are you guys gonna kill all our checks? We only get a little check and all our money goes in RG&E bills, okay? It is difficult to understand what RG&E is doing without the money they gave from us. I don't know what they do with their money. I don't know. They just, I don't know. They're robbing us. My husband and I live in a fixed income. Then my son came to live with us, which did not make it easier since he's disabled too. The rate increase makes it hard for us to get other items like clothes, food, clothing, and medical care. It's ridiculous. We no longer drive, my husband no longer drive, depend on the others, and to help with appointments and getting groceries. It's ridiculous. We don't have nobody to take it nowhere. We don't have no money for gas. The gas is raising, the RG is raising. What is all these crazy things about it? They're gonna kill us. Oh, you guys stop doing what you guys doing without. We no longer raising people bills. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's enough. Enough is enough. Okay? We have no choice but to use RG&E because if not, we're gonna stay without RG&E. Please stop. And I'm gonna say, and that why I endorse the demand of the Monroe County Workers Benefit Council. 1, cancel this rate hike entirely. 2, install a year-round moratorium of shut-off. And 3, transition to 100% renewable energy grid by 2030 while keeping rates affordable for even the lowest income rate payers. Please lower your bills down. Bye.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to make a statement with your organization? Is there anybody else who'd like to make a statement with your organization? Hello? Can somebody from the Workers Benefit Council please confirm whether there's anyone who'd like to make a statement? Can we unmute them, please, Sangeeta?
Yes, everybody has said what they have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, at this point, again, I'll ask if there's anyone on the line, even if you didn't register, if you'd like to make a statement, we'll allow that. If you just pressed *3 on your keypad, or if you join by WebEx, there's a raise hand button in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. You can click that to identify that you'd like to make a statement. So *3 for those joining by phone, the raise hand button for those of you joining via WebEx. Don't see any hands raised. We'll give one last try for Jeffrey Eisenhart, who has registered. We've called a few times. Jeffrey, if you've joined.
Jeff is sick. He couldn't make it today. He is sick today.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. And Jonathan Garcia. Or Brian Eden from the Campaign for Renewable Energy, or a representative for Brian Eden. Okay, final call. *3 on your phone, or the raise hand button via WebEx. Okay, seeing no hands raised. That concludes our hearing this afternoon. I'd like to remind everyone listening that you may also submit comments by the other means described earlier and also as described in the August 19th notice. In addition to this afternoon's hearing, we will be holding an additional public statement hearing this evening starting at 5 p.m. Judge Overton and I thank everyone for your interest and participation today. We also thank Commissioner Majori for joining us, our Consumer Services Office for administering this session, and thank you to our court reporter. The public statement hearing is now concluded and we are off the record. Hope everyone has a lovely rest of your day. Thanks again, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you.
For attending. Thank you.